This is a primary question that so many people use to fortify their denial and walk away from this issue. How many things have they done to themselves already that we already know about? How about detonating over 2,000 nuclear weapons around the globe? The initiation of which they did not know the consequences of, but they did it anyway. Every life form on the planet is contaminated with the fallout from those 2,000 nuclear bomb detonations. Don't they know they work after several dozen? But they kept doing it. Let's look at Fukushima. We have now 3 reactors in full meltdown. No end in sight to that situation, no known technology to fix it, and yet we're building 60 more nuke plants right now. In the case of climate engineering, again, it's a very complex issue. It's not a deliberate attempt necessarily at ecocide, genocide, or omnicide, but it does add up to that. The planet has been irreparably damaged now, and those in power simply look at this as a risk-to-risk scenario, the risk of doing it versus the risk of not doing it. We're already geoengineering the planet. Human activity is a form of geoengineering, period. When you alter the natural life form or life-sustaining systems of the planet, you're geoengineering the planet. So from their perspective, they feel compelled to try to engineer the planet, to compensate for the damage already done. There's many people making profit at this. Disaster capitalists, too many people invested to turn back. So in order to keep business as usual, they have chosen for us, without our knowledge or consent, to engineer the planet, going back 70 years, doing immensely more damage than what was already done. How many examples do we need of the suicidal behavior of those in power? And we have a population that simply wants to look the other way, wants to go about their personal pursuit of pleasure, and doesn't want to do their part. You can't find what you're not looking for. People ask if this much material was coming down on us, contaminating our air quality. Why wouldn't we hear about it? Why wouldn't EPA and air quality testing notify us of this issue? Because their equipment by design cannot detect this material. Air quality testing equipment is generally PM10, which is 10 microns, or at best PM2.5, 2.5 microns. We're talking about nanoparticulates. As named on the patents, we've done tests of precipitation and looked for particles as small as 0.01 microns, still could not identify a single particle. They're much smaller than that. So we're talking about particles that are hundreds and thousands of times smaller than anything the air quality tests for. That's why a mountain of material goes completely unreported. To try to put in perspective in regard to how small these nanoparticulates are compared to the size of particle that normal air quality testing tests for, let's compare a boulder to a grain of sand. That's the difference. And that's why these particles can't be detected. That's why they're so dangerous. That's why they're being absorbed into everything. You can fit as many as 50,000 nanoparticulates across the width of a human hair. How do you get your arms around that? I was told by a California state water quality rep in about 2004 that the state stopped testing for aluminum in the water in 2002. Why is that? I was on the phone with another rep from California State Water Quality after they received tests from other sources proving aluminum was flowing through the tributaries in California. And this rep with State Water Quality made it clear that under no circumstances did the state care what's in the precipitation, nor would they ever test precipitation. Where do they think runoff comes from? I've spoken in front of CARB, California Air Resources Board, and they stated publicly at that meeting that climate engineering was of no concern to them. It's not in their jurisdiction. I've been in high-level EPA meetings in Sacramento, one arranged by a congressional rep, 5 top EPA people in that meeting, and told to my face that the system is rigged, that they are, in the case of air particulates, for example, they're told what to test for, mandated, and the rest of the test goes out the window. They're told to test for combustion particulates only. and the rest of the sample is not even examined. From every direction, these agencies that the public assumes would tell them if something was wrong are doing exactly the opposite. People need to understand this. If we're going to preserve a future for our children, it's up to us. Anybody that's in a position to know firsthand this is going on and speaks out about it, they can expect unimaginable repercussions. We do have a pilot, in fact, that is speaking out about this issue on the record. We have a number of pilots that have. I'm dealing right now with a federal District 6 EPA employee that tried to bring to light aluminum contamination that he believes is directly from geoengineering in the water, the fallout. And he is being pulled through the coals right now. If they're a government scientist, no First Amendment protection, and in the case of National Weather Service and NOAA employees, federal gag order. So we need to have a population that supports these academicians, that gives them the cover they need to come out of the shadows and start telling the truth. In the case of environmental groups who are behaving with unimaginable hypocrisy, who are ignoring the single greatest environmental assault of all, and I'm talking about Greenpeace, Sierra Club, NRDC, Environmental Defense, all of them. Our attorneys have spoken to attorneys from, for example, Environmental Defense and Sierra Club. I've personally spoken to Sierra Club top members in Northern California. They don't want to hear it, they don't want to see it. So it's up to us. It all comes back to us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. It's simply something that most people are afraid of doing. You can speak confidentially with an attorney or even a team of our attorneys off the record so that they can help decide how to best handle the information that you have. The full list of downstream consequences from climate engineering is so immense, it's truly impossible to quantify. The most detrimental factors that are inarguable, proven by science study. Geoengineering completely disrupts the hydrological cycle. As you fill the atmosphere with particulates, you have too many condensation nuclei, and it tends to migrate rain from one place to another. It diminishes direct light. We have global dimming as a result of solar radiation management. That's the express goal, to block the sun. That decreases evaporation. The same particulates decrease convection. The most detrimental factors that are inarguable, proven by science study. You have a shredded ozone layer that's causing massive UV radiation. We're seeing UVB levels 10 times higher than we're being told. We're metering UV radiation, so we know, we're not guessing. So you have levels of UV radiation, you have UVA at the top, UVB, UVC, and then X-ray. We're told that no more than 5% of all incoming UV radiation should be UVB. We're seeing 55% to 60%, 10 to 11 to 12 times higher than we're being told. It's burning the bark off of trees. It's killing plankton. Plankton supplies over half of Earth's oxygen content. we've seen global plankton populations plummet 50 to 60%. That's the bottom of the food chain, the bottom of life on Earth. And also, this is important to consider, on a warming planet, we should have an increase in atmospheric RH, atmospheric relative humidity. Laws of physics say we must. Since the mid-40s, when we know these programs started, we see a decrease in atmospheric relative humidity. Because these particles are desiccant materials. They absorb and accrete all available moisture. That's why they show up when they're sprayed. That's why atmospheric humidity is going down, not up. We have the bioavailable metals that are in the rain, which radically affect the root systems, and we know from peer-reviewed study, in the case of aluminum, when trees like conifers and boreal forests sense the aluminum, they shut down nutrient uptake. They die. We have forests now that are not only not producing oxygen, they're not feeding on carbon, they're not absorbing, they've become carbon sources instead of carbon sinks. The same particulates decrease convection. The data indicates that the ozone damage is not so much a result of CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, but of climate engineering. And the CFCs have been used as a red herring. We have an exponential increase in forest fires around the globe. Siberia is losing about 100 million acres of forest to fires every year. We lost 600% more forest to fires in Canada last year. These are astronomically high numbers. As climate engineering, again, how does it fuel forest fires? Again, less rain. We have an intense ozone destruction that's causing massive UV radiation, which has a very detrimental effect to the trees. We have more dry lightning. We have an incendiary dust coating the foliage. These metal particulates are incendiaries, so they coat the foliage. The aluminum showing up everywhere in whales. We have a study of 1,000 whales from the most remote places on the planet. And the study stated clearly, and I'm quoting directly from the study, jaw-dropping levels of aluminum in their tissues. There is no place to hide from what's falling out. We're looking at biosphere implosion right now. We're swimming in a toxic sea at this point. What's happening inside us? These particles are endocrine disruptors. So the list of effects on the human body is immense, many of which are unknown. When we have an atmosphere, a breathable air column that's laden with toxic, heavy metal nanoparticulates, and these particulates are so small that according to internationally recognized neuroscientists like Dr. Russell Blaylock, who's spoken on the record, these particles enter straight through the lung lining, go straight into the bloodstream, adhere to cell receptors, cross the blood-brain barrier, do an unimaginable amount of damage to our system. It's not only bioavailable, it's bioaccumulative. It builds up in our system. It goes in, it doesn't come out. The bottom line is all of us are getting sicker by the day. We're firing on less neurons by the day. We're thinking less cognitively. 1 out of 3 seniors in the US now dies with Alzheimer's and/or dementia. 1 out of 3 not dies from it, but dies with it. In the case of autism, also, peer-reviewed study proves connected to aluminum exposure. We have autism going from 1 in 5,000 in 1975 to 1 in 47 in 2014, and now we have internationally recognized institutions like MIT stating on the record that in less than 9 years we will have every other child with autism. Every other child. How many red flags does it take? The list of effects on the human body is immense, many of which are unknown, but what is known is bad enough. We face a fight for life. If every breath we take is laden with these particles, and the lab tests prove that they are. This is not theory, not conjecture, not speculation. Every breath we take is laden with these materials. We have a fight for life. It's time we face it accordingly. The most critical question of all, what do we do about it? How do we deal with this situation? We must reach a critical mass of awareness. And people ask, what then? What happens then? The effort to reach a critical mass of awareness is how we've gotten this far. That's how we've acquired the attorneys that we have that are fighting for us right now. That's how we've had, for example, military personnel that have contacted me directly. I'm communicating with the former Air Force general, former Army Major General, people from other arenas that are reaching out to us right now. That's how that happens, by providing enough cover for those people to come out of the shadows and join us in our fight. When we reach critical mass, that's when the families of those involved understand what's happening and what their family members are participating in, and we can stop these programs from the inside out. That's the only way we can stop them. We can't go up against the U.S. military. We have to stop these programs from the inside out by appealing to our military brothers and sisters. We must have them on our side or we have no chance. What does the common man do, or the common woman, to help in this battle? You start spot fires of awareness everywhere around you, and you do that with credible data. You keep flyers, credible informational flyers with you, which are much more effective than pointing at the sky and ranting. That only makes people shut down. You can download flyers from geoengineeringwatch.org for free and print them locally. Color, glossy, two-sided flyers that are very effective. You can hold viewings in your home and invite people to see the data so they can decide for themselves. You can contact agencies, individuals, organizations, ag groups, Alzheimer's groups, ADD groups. The list is endless. Send them credible data. And we have on geoengineeringwatch.org what's called a flaming arrow package. The purpose behind that is to start a spot fire of awareness, shoot a flaming arrow of information. That's a fully prepared introduction letter to this issue that's done in a manner that's palatable for people who are new to the issue, with informational links. It's all prepared. All you have to do is send it out to the right people. If you or any other individual if we continue on this course, your paychecks and pensions won't matter. Ask yourself why you're here. Ask yourself what you owe to your children. Let's walk the walk. All of us are needed in this battle. Make your voice heard. Help us to reach a critical mass of awareness. Help us to bring this issue to light. And if we can, even at this late hour, we could take a quantum leap in the right direction.